Hey guys, I'm doing this video in response to a comment. Someone in the comments asked me to explain how I aggressively attacked my debt this year. And I've been documenting my journey on this channel. And in one of the videos, I talked about how I have been aggressively attacking my debt. Okay, so I'm going to talk about how I have been doing it in this video. And let me just first say this. I did not do it with my job alone. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. It is not my W-2 income alone. Okay, I have other ways of making money outside of my job. So I want to say that first and foremost, because I am very big on having multiple streams of income. Okay, now if you're watching this channel, you probably see, I think on this channel at the time of doing this video, I maybe have about 550 subscribers. So this channel is pretty small, but I have multiple YouTube channels. I have one channel where I have almost 90,000 subscribers. That channel is monetized, so I do get paid from that channel, from the channel itself, and then from sales that I get from selling my courses that I promote on that channel. Okay, so I do want to mention that I am very big on having multiple streams of income, because you cannot rely on one. Anything can happen. I always talk about the pandemic happening. So many people lost their jobs just recently with the government being shut down. There's no way in this day and time that anybody, I don't care how much you make, you need to have multiple ways of making money. And I will do another video on that, because I know I've talked about it on one of my other channels, but I don't think I've really went into detail about some of the ways you can make money. So if you want that video on this channel, let me know down below in the comments. But anyway, I just wanted to say that first of all. So let me see, where can I start? Because there's so much. I will say this. First of all, I started with doing a budget, okay? Now, the B word, right? Some people don't like to talk about a budget. I also have a book. I'll leave my book. I don't even promote. Y'all, I'm an author. I've written 4 books. I don't even promote my books like that on any of my channels. I forget sometimes. But I'll link my book too. I have a book. It's called Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman Financially, 3 Money Lessons We Can Learn from Proverbs 31. And I talk about saving, investing, and working on your credit. Okay, in that book I talked about the importance of budgeting. You have to know how much extra money you have or don't have. So that's the very first thing I did. I did a budget so I could be real about how much money I have. Before I started making money outside of work, I was in the negative. Okay, I was spending way more than what I was making and wondering how in the world am I surviving. Okay, so you have to do that. Once you do your budget, then you got to decide, then you got to figure out, okay, if I need to make more money, how I'm going to do that. If you got to get a side hustle, listen, at one point, me and my daughter, we were doing Uber Eats, okay? This was after I became an author. Like, just look, I'm writing books, I'm speaking and all that, and also doing Uber Eats, right? I did what I had to do. This was like back in 2016, 17, I think that was when we were doing that. Probably between 16, off and on between 16 and 18. That's just a part of doing what you got to do. So if you don't already have other ways to make money, again, I'll do that video, but I do want you to start looking into ways. I don't want you to look too much into a bunch of side gigs, because I don't want you to trade more time for money. I want you to start looking at ways that you can make money, passive money. So I'll do a video on that. But anyway, the other thing that I did, I wrote down everything that I owe, from my auto loans, credit cards, all of that. And I also wrote down the interest. So if you guys don't know, credit card interest will keep you in debt forever. When I looked at my credit card statement and I realized, I had never really paid attention to how much interest I was paying. I noticed one month I paid $200 in interest. Like, it was 2 interest charges in 1 month. It was like one was like 126 and the other was like 130. I was like, what in the world? So when I saw that, I was like, oh no, I got to attack this debt. So I listed them all, how much I was paying the interest and all of that. And I did a combination of the avalanche and the debt snowball. So you probably have heard of both. The snowball method is when you list your debts in the order of largest to smallest. You pay off the smallest first and then you work your way up. So when you pay off, and I'll do another video on this, but you pay off the smallest debt first and you making minimum payments on the bigger ones. Every time you pay off a smaller one, you take that payment that you were paying on that and you roll it into the next debt. Okay, I'm gonna do a visual. I'm a teacher, so I know some people learn better with seeing visuals. So I'll do another video on that where I'm actually writing it out and doing an example. The avalanche is when you pay off your debt with the highest interest first. So I did a combination of both. I was paying off the smallest debts, but I was also at the same time paying off debt that was where the interest rate was super high. So I had I'm gonna have to do a separate video on that and showing that too, because that's gonna probably be confusing. But I did a combination of both, okay? And this year I turned 40, okay? I don't know if you guys know how important sacrifice is, but I turned 40 this year, and I had been saying for my 40th birthday, I want to do it up big. I said I want to do a big 90s party and all of that. I had been planning this for like a few years. Do y'all know I did not do that party this year? Because it would have cost me a few $1,000s. Even if it would have cost me a few $100s, I'm like, that's money that I could be putting on my debt. So you know what I did? I didn't take no trips this year. I went to one concert. I went to Jagged Edge concert this year. I am the person, listen, I'm going on trips several times a year. I'm going to shows. And when I go to concerts, I have to be up front. Okay. If I'm not up front, I don't want to be there. And if it's like one of my favorites, like I'm getting the meet and greet package. So I spend a lot of money on concerts. Okay. So I didn't do any of that this year. So I sacrificed this year. Every extra cent that I got, I put it towards my debt, and I also put it towards the $10,000 savings challenge that I'm in. So I posted that video at the beginning of the year that I was in the challenge with a friend. Well, she's my friend on Facebook, but I don't know her personally. And she does the challenge every year. And I'll try to screenshot the sheet so I'll try to post the $10,000 challenge up on the screen so that way you can screenshot it if you want to do it next year. But she does it every January, and you have the entire year to save. So one week you might be saving $200. The next week it might be $75. The big weeks are your $400 weeks. So it's a $5,000 challenge and a $10,000, and then there's a $15,000. I did the $10,000. So every single cent that I got, I was putting it towards the debt and putting it towards the $10,000 challenge. So back in February this year, February 2025, my auto loan was at $25,000. And as of today, it's November now, November 2025, I only owe $6,000 on it. That's how aggressively I was paying on my auto loan this year. I got into a home buying program when I found out if you have 9 payments or less left, they won't count it. I said, oh, let me get on that. And let me just say, I have a super high car note. I don't even share how much my car note is because it's so high. But let me tell you, I got my car during the height of COVID when everything, well, it wasn't a height of COVID, but it was a height of when everything was 2022, when all of the home prices were jacked up and the car prices. Cars were thousands and thousands of dollars more than it was a seller's market. They were thousands and thousands of dollars more than what they normally would cost. And for me, I had paid off multiple cars in the past, and I said, if I ever get a car note again, I want it to be something I really want. So I got another SUV like I had before, but this time I got it fully loaded. It's a hybrid. So my car note is really high, I will say that. So I am glad to finally be almost done with that. But that is how I aggressively attack my debt this year and aggressively save that $10,000. Like I said, I did the budget to see where I was at. Every cent that I got, I threw it at my credit cards, at my auto loan, right? I sacrifice. There may be, I don't know what your thing is that you spend a lot of money on, but you may have to sacrifice some things. You know, I don't know what that looks like for you, but that may be where you are. So that's some ways that I aggressively attack my debt. I'm going to do another video just going into detail about how I use the avalanche and the snowball method. So that way this may be something you can apply to your own debt payment process. And then I will also do another video, if you guys want it, like I said, on some ways to make money outside of your job. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know down below where you are in your debt payment process. If you're interested in joining the $10,000 challenge next year, I do highly recommend it. I'm going to put the picture up so you can screenshot it. Make sure you have accountability partner. The group that I was in, you had to show your balance every week. If you don't, you get put out the group. No exceptions. So that's how we were able to hold each other accountable. Okay, so
Okay, guys, one thing I forgot to mention while recording this video was the importance of using a high yield savings account when you do the challenge. If you do plan on doing the $5,000 or $10,000 challenge. Now, I did not put anything extra in my account. However, because the savings account that I had my money sitting in was high yield savings account, it earned money. So I'm going to put a couple referrals in the chat for you guys. One of them is my personal favorite. Another one is another good one. So when you guys are saving, make sure you have it in a high yield savings account because you want your money to be making money and not just sitting.
Let me know if you have any questions down below, any video suggestions. Thank you for visiting my channel. Be blessed. Oh, and make sure you subscribe. Be blessed.